This car has a crazy set of sound system, and it's not some branded shit like Bang & Olufsen or Bose or whatever. It's just Alpine. Hear it? Yes. Okay, that music is not from my album. It's preloaded into the car, and yes, it's one hell of a sound system. Alright guys, these are the keys to a 300,000 car, and this is the car that we'll be filming today. It's going to be a short video. This is the Jeep Wrangler Sahara. So Sahara Unlimited means it's the 4-door version, and it's a very unique car. It is a very unique car. So I've been driving it for a week now, and I gotta say, I love it. I love its uniqueness. It is something very special, and there's really nothing quite like it out there. And at first I was a bit baffled with a lot of its quirks, but I kind of grew to like it now. Now, first of all, almost every panel that you see here can be dismantled, can be taken off. This bumper here, you can take it off. And if you can see here, once you take it off, it has almost zero overhang. So what that means is that however steep a surface is, it is able to climb it. Look at the doors. Yeah, look at the doors. All this can be easily removed. And the door handles. Look at the unique design. Why? Because you can pull as hard as you want while you stand on the rails. Here. Right? Now, so once, and even the roof, look at this part. This entire part, this is actually some composite material. You can remove it, and just like the Porsche GT3 RS, this car has a roll cage. Now the boot opens this way. Alright. And this one flips up, just like that. It has a huge boot, an excellent subwoofer, excellent sound system in here. So what this car is that it is not a cheap car, but it has things that not many cars out there can do. So first thing is that you can remove everything, and this car is entirely waterproof. Yes, you hear that right. You can drive it through a river with water flowing into the cabin, and there are drain plugs inside the car where you can drain the water out. And it's very lovely, very quirky actually, and I like it. I've been driving it, and it's a very unique car. It has loads of character, a lot of cheap plastics. But that's not the point. The point is that this car is a zombie apocalypse ready car. So if we go to the interior, let's go inside. It's a bit of a climb. Look at the doors. There are no hinges that holds it. If it's not for this strap here, the door can fling all the way to the wheel arch. This is how quirky it is. So hold the steering, one step, and we're in. There we go. And this very high-tech key, well, you want to reduce as much electronics, right, in a car like that. Now, this is the interior. First of all, this is not a car where it's meant to be luxurious inside, leathers and all that. You know, those things don't last. This car, look at it here, since 1941. So it basically didn't really change much. Jeep is actually the inventor of the SUV. So if it comes from the wheelie Jeep, you know, when US go to war, World War II and all that. So the army wanted a car that can withstand anything, go through any terrain, and be lightweight enough to be carried by the tugboats and all that. So this is interesting. So every panel we have here, we can remove it And the interior, they say it's hose down ready, so meaning that if there's mud inside everything, if it's dirty and all that, and we can get a hose and just hose everything down. And there's no Bluetooth. There's no Bluetooth, so there's an aux cable here. And I kind of felt that there's a bit of hit and miss in the interior here. I mean, they could have done a little bit more to make it more interesting, like a mini, Don't do all this cheap chrome thing. It cheapens the car. And this one is a metal painted kind of, I don't know what's that. I mean, imagine if it's one thick piece of rubber and it's here chunky with almost looking like gear cocks and all that, right? That would add so much to the character. And don't bother with all this, just give us cheap chunky plastics and it adds to the character of the car. Don't try to be luxurious halfway and okay, the back seats is quite spacious, but then the angle of the seats means it's not really meant for comfort, but it's rather plush. It's okay. And what else? Oh, there's a lot of annoying stuff. For example, if there is a small motorbike or bicycle that passes by, even one car length away, this car will beep like nobody's business. All right, it's something that it does when you're on the go. When you're parking is alright, and then when you're reversing or trying to park your car, it will just beep when things are near, but it doesn't beep using the front speakers or the rear speakers, so that you have a feeling of knowing which part of your car is near anything. So now on the driver's seat, visibility is excellent. I never thought this car's visibility is that good, but as I was driving it, everything seems perfect. Now, what else? Cruise control. You can control the speakers through the steering wheel, but the buttons are behind. Interesting. And the aircon is fantastic. Oh, this thing here, this lever here, to control the side mirrors. Okay, they broke when I got the car, so well, there are a little bit of quirky bits of, you look at that, there's a small little Jeep there, there's a waterfall grill there, and I'm not sure if you can see it. Wait, let me tilt it upwards. Yeah, everywhere. So decent interior, not luxurious. It's actually quite crappy in terms of material, but that's the whole point. And I'm gonna go drive it now while I come back. There we go. All right. Sorry, that's the only place that I can find to hook up the GoPro. And first of all, how does this drive? Now, it has a 3.6 liter engine and doesn't produce a lot of horsepower, about 200, and less than 400 newton meters of torque. So it's naturally aspirated. I would say it's a rather primitive engine. Big displacement, not a lot of horsepower, but this kind of engine that are not highly tuned, they are reliable. So Americans might be bad with interior build quality and all that, but their cars were never unreliable mechanically. I mean, bits and pieces may fall off, but in terms of mechanical reliability, they've always been quite good. Now, I was expecting this car to be a complete useless boat as I drove it across the one-way period. To my surprise, first of all, I don't know whether you guys can tell the difference or not, but on the road, on these massive off-road ready tires, this car is rather quiet, despite the thin door panels and this kind of crude, unpadded composite roof or whatever. I'm surprised sound insulation is rather good. Of course, at speed it also totally falls apart because of the shape of the car. There is a lot of wind noise at speeds. Now, another thing I'm thoroughly surprised by this car is that the suspension is a leather on frame chassis, and then leaf springs, blah blah, and all that crude stuff. But the way the car rebounds and absorbs. You know, when I go over speed bumps and all that, I went over them faster and faster over the past week, because this car just irons out speed bumps. It just rolls over them, and it feels great doing that. It feels great doing that. I mean, I'm sure all pickup trucks can do that. I mean, that's a pickup truck, but there's this, you don't feel the entire car being as solid and as, it's almost as if the car is milled from one block of metal. So it's very, very solid in here. Yeah, I know, cheap plastics and everything, but you know it will last. You know it will last. Another thing is that the steering. Now, for cars, I mean, people who go off-road, they will know you don't want a very sensitive steering because of how the rocks and the terrains and all that. Sometimes they will yank your steering, and if your steering is those sports car steering that are, you know, highly communicative, you know, those kind of steerings that Evo likes, right? this car, look at this. I'm sure you can see this. I mean, it's a wide angle. There's a lot of free play here. The car does nothing when I'm doing that, and I'm very sure that it is purposely done so, because when you go off-road, you want that kind of free play on your steering, and the sensation wasn't that good when I got the car on the first day, but as I drove it, I like it. I like the charm of it. And another thing is that how this car handles. It's not a sports car. It's a tall, you know, big ass SUV. I mean, that Pajero looks tiny next to me. It's huge. It's a huge car. But yes, when I go into the corner, the body rolls, but it's not the type where it makes you. See, there's a motorcycle. There's a car away, and then it beeps. And the funny thing is that it's supposed to warn me of motorcycles, but the beep happens only when the motorcycle was within my view. So it's supposed to, you know, remind me there's a small squashable object near me. Yeah, it's there. I see it. Then only it starts beeping. So the beeping part is quite annoying over the past few days. Now back to out of car drives. I managed to go rather fast over certain high-speed corners, and it's the pliancy of the suspension and the way that the body movements are very controlled. They move, yes, it's physics, it's heavy. When you go around a corner, it will sit down, but then it is in a very controlled manner and very predictable manner. So after a few days driving it, I was going faster and faster, and I kind of like how this car feels. You know, it's very different, not a Porsche Macan or Cayenne or whatsoever, but it just feels good. You know, just thundering this big tank around in city streets and all that, and yeah, the engine doesn't produce a lot of power, but I never felt the need to have more, because it suits the car. Because I mean, if the car has a wonderful chassis, you know, like a Porsche Macan or Cayenne and all that, I will feel that, oh, this engine is slow, you know. But everything gels here. It's just nice. Yes, it's huge, 3.6 liters, so road tax will be high. But then this is an SUV, so you get half. You only pay half the road tax. And I have to say, this car gives me, I mean, the thrill of driving. I mean, yes, we're Evo, but it's not just performance cars. We especially like cars that are supposed to do what they're designed to do and do it well. and despite a lot of flaws, I mean, I would say packaging flaws or certain little niggly build quality flaws, but on the basis of the car, this is a very, very well engineered car, suited for its purpose. It is never confused about what it is. Oh, that's an Evoque, see? An Evoque is a very attractive the image, the character, and Jeep could have done a bit more of that in the interior. Still, this car oozes character. I mean, when you drive it, when you live with it, it's certainly a livable car. I never thought I would say this, but it is livable day to day. Yes, it's about 300,000, but you can use it every day. It is comfortable enough. It is hard wearing as fuck. Oh, sorry. Basically, I really like this car. How many of us bring our cars, or our SUVs for that matter, to racetracks? None of us. We don't do that. You know, that's just the way they market it. And of course, luxury is always good, but reliability and absolute ruggedness, I think, has its appeal as well. Think of it as the most comfortable pickup truck you've ever sat in, with the most comfortable rear seats in a pickup truck you ever sat in, and of course a pickup truck with what do they call that? Covered trunk space or bed. So this is very similar to that in that respect, because the price is not. But basically, mechanically, it is somewhere there. Except the fact that this car has classic designs and it oozes a lot of character. So yeah, yes, I'm circling Mid Valley here because I'm supposed to fetch my colleague. He just returned the Volvo XC90. So what else I need to say about this car? I mean, nothing much, but I really like it. And if you're an outdoorsy person, you should really look at this Wrangler. I mean, this is something classic. It's not the usual luxury SUV, you know, that it's classic. There's a lot of charm in it, a lot of flaws, yes. Okay guys, check this one out. This looks absolutely brilliant. Look at it. This is what you can do to your Wrangler. Look at it, man. Damn. Brilliant. You know what you should do? You get this car, do this fender, and then put an RWB sticker on top. That should seriously throw people. Lovely, lovely. Damn. Cool, huh?